So now, let us see how do we miss out on collectivity. It's a very practical, down-to-earth understanding. First, we must know without collectivity we cannot exist. As the body has to be in connection with the brain, in the same way, without collectivity, Sahaja Yoga cannot exist. Once you understand that, then you have to work it out that collectivity is absolutely established within and without. It is more within that we have to establish than without. Whatever you have within is manifested outside. Now, how do we establish it within ourselves? First of all, we have to understand that now we are the relations of each other. Ganeshwara has said, Techi soyari hoti. Who is that cry? All right, Tirada. I chat. All right. So the first thing is that within ourselves, we have to see introspection, with introspection. What are we doing against collectivity in our mind? How our mind is working. I do not know what thing comes first in the human mind about another person. But the first thing is that these are your real relations. And nobody else are your relations. These children are your children, and these men are your brothers, and these ladies are your sisters, and we are one big family together. We are part and parcel of one body. As this hand cannot hit another hand, thank God it doesn't think. Otherwise, as human beings, they might start thinking against another hand. But they don't, because they are connected to one brain activity. So the first thing one has to understand that do not try to see the defects of another person, but goodness of another person. That is really going to help you the most. Like in India, I see, I don't know, here may be the same. If they know you, supposing, immediately they'll find out, now what work can we take out of this person? If somebody is a minister's brother, immediately they'll approach the minister's brother. All right, will you do this work for me? Then somebody says, I'm such and such. Immediately people will think, oh, so what work can we get out of this person? In the same way, you can go a little further in the language of Sahaja Yoga. As soon as you come to know about someone, you should not think what business I can do with him. I have seen immediately if somebody has money, people will jump at him, all right, let's have the business together. Even in Sahaja. Or if there's anything like that, immediately they start employing that person for your purpose. On the contrary, what you have to do, as soon as you know about somebody, then you have to think what goodness he has got. How can I imbibe that goodness within myself? Because we are here to enrich ourselves spiritually. So you must think as first and foremost thing, what can I do to get the goodness of that person within myself? So you'll be looking out for the goodness of that person than instead of looking out for bad qualities. Because bad qualities are not going to nourish you at all. Also, if somebody has bad qualities, no use thinking about you yourself, because if you start thinking about it, they are not going to be improved. It is somebody else's problem. So best thing is to look at another person with adoration and understanding, with love, that he is one of us and what can I use. Now if I have the hand, I don't have to think because we are programmed that way. If I have to hold this, automatically I use my hand, not my feet. I know my hands are going to do. But when I have to walk, I don't walk with my hands because I know my feet have to walk. In the same way, you have to know which Sahajogi is going to help you to nourish yourself. Immediately your mind will become very clear. Like now I saw some boy in New Zealand who was really about to be dead. And when he came back, I found the attitude towards him was not kind, as it should have been. But this is the best chance where you should see how you can practice your compassion. We talk of compassion, compassion. Now let us see how we can practice our compassion when this boy is so sick. On the contrary, everybody was harsh on him, were passing remarks at him, doing things like that. Because we have to have compassion. Now mother has said we have to have compassion. Now where do you have our compassion? On the walls, where do we use our compassion? Where do we use our compassion? So Sahaja Yoga is to be practiced, doesn't mean that you sit down with my photograph all the time. It doesn't mean that. It means you practice compassion. You practice that. Then you have to practice love. Now how do you practice love with others? If you love someone, what do? You try to please that person. Small things can make people very happy. I know you all try to please me very much. You'll give me presents, you'll find out things which are good for me, you'll go out of the way, buy sweet flowers for me. Beautiful things you do to please me. I am over pleased, I must tell you. But I am more pleased, much more pleased, if you understand collectivity and try to please each other. Such a person pleases me the most, that the attention is more on pleasing each other. As soon as you decide you have to please others, your tongue will become different. It will become a sweet tongue. The tongue which was like a pair of scissors becomes such a beautiful thing of honey. Then you talk little, but you really pour honey on another person, and another person really enjoys it. So now the practice love, where do you practice? Ask you a question. Where do I practice love? What do I love? We love our house, we love our photographs, our decorations, everything. But do I practice this love on my wife or on my husband or on other surgeries? In our Sahaj culture, we have to practice compassion and love. And thirdly, we have to practice patience. I know some children are maybe little more mischievous, some are less mischievous. Maybe some people are very talkative. Sometimes really they give me also a headache. They go on talking so much. Sometimes I think it's good because it's a rest for my mouth. One way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is just switch off your mind, let him talk, take it out, whatever he wants to do. Once he is finished with it and fagged out, then he won't bother you much. And also he'll feel satisfied that somebody has listened to his practice. So patience is needed. And patience is needed in such a way that others should see your patience. Yesterday, for example, I was sitting for about, 3 hours shaking hands with all sorts of people and all types of problems. And the person who came last, he said, looking at your patience, I developed my own patience. And love gives you patience.